All right, people, what's up? I'm back. Today we're going to do back-to-back videos. Today's episode is going to be the LA Lakers versus the Orlando Magics. Kobe Bryant, one of the best and the greatest basketball players of all times, versus Tracy Mcgrady. Yeah, I've been wanting to do this video for a very, very long time. Now, before I start this video presentation, I want to apologize to my YouTube audience. Now, I wanted to make the Chicago Bulls, Portland Blazers, Michael Jordan versus Clyde Drexler video. I wanted to make that video at least 15 minutes, if not 20 minutes. Yes, I understand that video was rushed at the end and it was only 12 minutes. The thing was, my uncle popped up unannounced and unattended, and sometimes I don't like it when my uncle comes back from Ubering so fast, so quickly, and then I'm doing a video inside the house. You understand that if I try to go film in Hollywood or in Santa Monica, you got to have a film permit, and then you get stopped by the police because you don't have a film permit. So that's why I film inside the house. Now, in the near future, I will be filming future YouTube videos in familiar LA locations, whether I have a film permit or not, because I'm getting tired of filming inside the house. And 2, I have ideas for something else. And 3, I don't like it when he comes back too fast, because then I can't do the videos and finish them properly. So I apologize that yesterday's video was somewhat rushed at the last minute. You probably was scratching your head, what the hell's going on? That's what was going on. He popped up right when I was finishing the video, and it could have been 15 minutes, if not 20 minutes. This video, however, might actually be 12 to 15 minutes, and you won't have to worry about a video being rushed unless it's a family emergency. So I apologize for that, my YouTube audience. Now, let's get on with the video. Kobe Bryant versus Tracy Mcgrady. Now, we always do the history of the basketball teams, and then we get to the players. Now, the Los Angeles Lakers have won 16 NBA championships, and Kobe Bryant managed to win 5 NBA championships with 2 different Laker teams. The first being with Shaquille O'Neal, and we all know the history of that. Kobe Bryant wanted to be a superstar, and he didn't want to be in Shaq's shadow, which is understandable. And the Orlando Magic is a basketball team that was founded in the 1980s. Around 1985, 1986, they were a part of the NBA expansion team. And during the late 80s, early 1990s, certain cities and states that didn't have a professional basketball team, all of a sudden they had a basketball team. Teams like the Orlando Magics, the Miami Heats. Let's see, I think, let me see, what other city didn't have an NBA team at the time? Them 2 are the ones that come to mind. Now, when they had Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway, this basketball team was a force to be reckoned with. But once they lost Shaq and once they lost Penny Hardaway due to injury, and they got Grant Hill to come in for a bit before they traded him back and forth to other teams, ultimately they got a draft pick, or should I say they got a trade in Tracy Mcgrady. You know, Tracy Mcgrady stood at 6'5", 240 pounds. He was a force of nature. He was a freak of nature. I mean, this guy could do all types of amazing things on the basketball court. We all know that he is a cousin and related to Vince Carter. And he was with the Toronto Raptors first, but he played terrible with the Toronto Raptors. He couldn't play defense. He couldn't play offense. He just was terrible. And when he got traded to the Orlando Magics, I would say that this time he was in his prime. While Kobe Bryant was already entering into his prime, Kobe tried to take on a Michael Jordan when he wasn't ready yet. Kobe 17 going on 18 trying to take on Michael Jordan. Kobe put up like 19, 20 points while Michael went for 35 points and dogged Kobe Bryant out, crossed Kobe. Kobe was young going up against Michael Jordan, and that showed right there what kind of player Kobe soon would become. It was like a foreshadowing on things to come in Kobe Bryant's career later. We know Kobe Bryant won 5 NBA championships. He's got 2 NBA MVPs, 3 NBA All-Star MVPs. He managed to participate in a slam dunk contest, something that people want LeBron James to do, but he don't want to do it. Kobe's participated in that. Kobe will soon get a statue of himself if he ain't already got one. And he's already being considered as one of the greatest Laker players to play the game of basketball. He's the only basketball player that has scored 40 points, 50 points, and 60 points on 10 separate occasions. There have been 10 games where Kobe Bryant has scored 60 points. There have been 10 games where he has scored 30 points. There have been 10 games where he has scored 50 points. So 30, 40, 50, 60. There have been at least 10 games apiece where he has scored that many points that many times. And there will never, and I mean never, woo! Like Chris Jericho say, never again be a basketball player as great as Kobe Bryant. You will never find a player that will be able to drop 81 points on those Toronto Raptors. I seen that basketball game. I went and did martial arts that day at karate class and came home from Jack in the Box. And with them in the second quarter going into the third quarter, all of a sudden Kobe Bryant turned into Superman and went for 81 points. I mean, it was something that was so real. It was like, is this a video game? Is this real? If what I'm seeing is real, let me slap myself. What? Kobe go for 40. I said, okay, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75. I'm like, oh shit. 81 was like, God damn. Kobe going off. I mean, and you see the problem with that was they were on a 7-game losing streak. And that's what made Kobe say, you know what? I'm tired of losing these basketball games. I'm tired of getting my ass handed to me. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to drop 81 points on the Toronto Raptors' ass. And he did. And that same year, they went to the playoffs, and you know what happened? They got beat by the Phoenix Suns in the first round in 7 games. In the 2006-2007 NBA season, he lost to the Phoenix Suns 2 years in a row. He would get his revenge in 2008 once they had Andrew Bynum, Pat Gasol, Derek Fisher, Kobe Bryant, Trevor Ariza, or should I say at that point, they had him because the Orlando Magic traded him. And at that point, they went on, well, Trevor hadn't came yet, but he was certainly on his way. And they faced the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. But Kobe would come back with a vengeance in 2009. And who did they beat? The Orlando Magics in the NBA Finals. And then 2010, Kobe would go back and win back-to-back championships. And it was against Boston Celtics in an NBA Finals rematch that went 7 games. So Kobe Bryant has done something that Michael Jordan has never done in his career. That's win a game 7 and do it in a big fashion. Now, it's good to win a series in 6, but it's always nice to see what would happen if you could do it in 7 games. And again, Kobe Bryant has done something that only a few players have ever done in the NBA. So he managed to win 5 NBA championships. And he got drafted in 1996, but it wasn't until 1997-1998 NBA season that we saw Kobe Bryant grow. And it wasn't until 99-2000 that Kobe Bryant began to enter into his prime. By this same time period, Tracy Mcgrady also was in the NBA in 1996. And it wasn't until 97-98 NBA season that we got to see the growth of Tracy Mcgrady. Now, by this time period, Tracy Mcgrady was surrounded by his own supporting cast. You know, he had this guy named something Armstrong. He had what's that other guy? I think Tulurku. Yeah, he had Tulurku. That was a power forward. And then I think he had I can't think of that guy's name, but there's that there's that center that comes on, I think. And then they had an old and aging Patrick Ewing, which, you know, he was a backup center at that point. It's a shame what they've done to Patrick Ewing towards the end of his NBA career. It's a shame. But Tracy McGrady had his supporting cast. He had a point guard. He had two centers. He had a power forward. And he was being deemed as a shooting guard, basically. Shooting guard / small forward, whatever. And he was being largely compared to Michael Jordan and to Kobe Bryant. Because these were the only two players that played the same style that Michael Jordan played. Difference was Tracy McGrady was bigger, stronger, faster, and more athletic. Tracy McGrady had games where he scored 20 points, 30 points, 40 points, 50, 60 points a game. And it was soon evident that whatever Kobe Bryant could do, Tracy McGrady could do. They both could score the same amount of points. They could play 45 minutes, 48 minutes if they have to. They could last in 4 quarters. They can play games in overtime. You know, a first overtime, a second overtime. That's where all the comparisons began. Now, here's what makes the two players different. Once Kobe Bryant won 3 championships 3 years in a row and had a chance to win a 4th title in a row, Tracy McGrady had one of the greatest basketball games in the NBA playoffs, which he'll always go down in history for, when he was with the Orlando Magic in his prime. Him going to the Houston Rockets, the New York Knicks, the Atlanta Hawks, the Chicago Bulls, going to the Spurs, that's like towards the downfall of his NBA career. Tracy McGrady, when he was with the Orlando Magic, that was the prime of his career. When he lost in the second round, either in the first round or in the second round to the Detroit Pistons in the 2003-2004 NBA season, he went up against a Detroit team that had Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Phillips, Rip Hamilton, Tyshawn Prince, single-handedly by himself, and scored 45 points in a playoff attempt in a Game 6 to try to force a Game 7 against the Detroit Pistons. And 2 years in a row, the Detroit Pistons eliminated the Orlando Magic and sent Tracy McGrady home. And not only did they beat the Orlando Magic, they also did the same thing to Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers 2 years in a row. 2003, 2004, he tries to take on the Detroit Pistons, but they're too powerful. They're too much. They were like the Golden State Warriors of the East. And Tracy McGrady was trying to take on this team by himself. And you got to keep this in mind. He was injured when this happened to him. I mean, he had a broken hand, because he had a broken hand. He had a dislocated shoulder. He sprained his ankle, and he scored 45 points doing all of this. And amazingly, he put up incredible effort. And then he spent like 5 or 6 seasons with the Orlando Magic. And once Tracy McGrady saw that he just could not do nothing with this team, that's when, at that time, Doc Rivers was the coach. And Tracy said, hey, send me to the Houston Rockets. Now, I would say for the first 2 or 3 seasons with the Houston Rockets, Tracy McGrady was still technically in his prime. And then I don't know what the hell happened. I mean, the guy's leg broke down. Guy's back broke down. The guy's shoulder breaks. The guy doesn't play for 30 games. He's out for 30 games. He comes back. He makes it in time for the playoffs. And who does he get beat in the first round by? Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. And the second year he's with the Houston Rockets, the guy gets hurt again. This time he misses 40 basketball games a season. Again, he comes back, he makes it for the playoffs, and this time he gets eliminated by Carlos Boozer and those Utah Jazz. A team they should have never lost to in the first place. A team that had no business winning in the first round. But then Tracy McGrady comes back a third time in the season, and again he loses to the Utah Jazz. And then at some point you start to realize that maybe Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady are not on the same competitive level. In the very beginning, yes, but then towards the middle and the end, both players take off in different directions. Now, at this time period, when Tracy McGrady started to lose, Kobe Bryant was losing. And again, people compared these two players to each other. Kobe, 3 championship rings, hasn't won a title in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and Kobe getting frustrated. Tracy McGrady getting frustrated because he keeps getting hurt, keeps getting injured. So it sounds like they're on the same level, right? Until Kobe wins 2 titles and makes it 5 championships. Tracy McGrady, by the time we get to the 2010-2011 NBA season, he has played with the Houston Rockets for 6 seasons. That's like 12 years of his career. And then if you add with Toronto, that makes it 13. And then he's, playing with the Knicks, which I don't know why he did that. But at that point, I guess he needed to be on a team. Then he was with the Chicago Bulls, or was entertaining the idea of that. Play with the Atlanta Hawks. Then he's out the NBA, which is like, oh, what? Tracy McGrady out the NBA? What the hell happened? And then he plays with the Spurs. And he goes to an NBA Finals. And I'm like, Tracy McGrady is 37 years old. He's played 15 years in the NBA. And he goes to his first NBA Finals in 15 NBA seasons. But he's been on 7 basketball teams in 15 years. And he loses his first NBA Finals in his twilight of his NBA career. I'm like, I don't know which is worse. Allen Iverson losing an NBA Finals in his prime, or Tracy McGrady losing an NBA Finals in the twilight of his 15-year career. It's like, what the hell is going on here? It's like somebody's got a giant pencil in the sky and they're just writing the final chapter of Tracy McGrady's basketball career, and he has no control over it, which is terrible to see. A great player, the first 7 years of his career, great, and then the rest of that, it just goes down the toilet. It's like a guy who dates this beautiful, hot, attractive woman, right? Does good for the first 5, 6, 7 years, and then, the relationship comes to an end. Your marriage falls apart, your kids hate you, your wife don't want to be with you no more, your wife cheat on you, and then before you know it, you're divorced. And then you're homeless. Well, in this case, he goes to an NBA Finals, and he loses in the twilight of his career. It's like, how do you get to the San Antonio Spurs? And this is sad. You're going against a LeBron James in his prime, and coming off the bench trying to guard LeBron and other players, and you lose your first NBA Finals in 15 seasons. That's a tough pill to swallow. That's painful. Why, Kobe stopped winning championships after a while. Again, there goes the comparison. Well, Kobe won 5. Kobe ain't going to win 6 like Michael. So I guess we can go back to comparing. But wait a minute. Tracy McGrady only plays 1 season with the Spurs and retires from the NBA. Kobe plays 2 or 3 more seasons and scores 60 points in the twilight of his NBA career, showing that in the twilight, I dropped 60 points. And I think if Kobe Bryant wanted it to, if he really wanted it to, I think he could have dropped 70 or maybe 80 points again if he really wanted to. Because if he dropped 60 so effortlessly, why not drop 70? Why not drop 80? Hell, Kobe Bryant, why not drop 90 points? I mean, you got to think about that. Now, who is better and why? Without no question asked, it's Kobe Bryant, not just because he has 5 NBA championships, but you got to look at the situation. Kobe Bryant has some knee injuries, some shoulder injuries. Kobe Bryant had back problems towards the end of his career. But the one thing that set Kobe and Tracy McGrady apart in their careers is that Kobe always had a supporting cast. And I think it comes down to who is around you versus, well, he won all these championships. I think it's more complicated than that when we bring up championships in the discussion. Yeah, championships is a big major part of why Kobe is forever a better basketball player than Tracy McGrady. But let's be honest. The reason why Kobe Bryant's better than Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter is because he had a great supporting cast. Everybody knows that if Kobe did not have the supporting cast he had for those 5 championships, he would be in the same predicament as all the guys that he beat. So when people say he's better than Allen Iverson, he's better than Allen Iverson because Allen Iverson did not have a center on the team. He might have had a Kimbe Mutombo, but he didn't have no Shaq. Kobe had Shaq. So when they say he's better than Vince Carter, he's better than Vince Carter because Vince Carter had to play more minutes because they didn't have a center. He's better than Tracy McGrady because he had a great supporting cast. Tracy McGrady had a supporting cast, but those players couldn't compete with the players that they were going against. And Tracy McGrady was asked to do a lot of work in situations where he got injured. Kobe would do that later in his basketball career that caused Kobe to get seriously injured in the same way as Tracy McGrady. But by the end of the day, if you look at the careers, I would say by a slight 2 hairs, in my opinion, by 2 hairs, is why Kobe's just a little bit better than Tracy McGrady. All right, until then, peace.